Back to school also means back to the sharing of germs. So how do you keep your kid from getting sick when they go back to school? Well, Nurse Jenny Feltz is with us this morning. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
You've got 6 tips. We're going to go over 3 this time around. And the first one is get a good night's sleep.
Exactly. That's really important for kids. They need that extra sleep so that they'll have good concentration when they get to school in the mornings.
And that protects their immune system as well.
Exactly.
Okay, and it takes, you say, how long to get a kid used to their sleep patterns?
It takes anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks to get them back into that routine.
So if parents haven't started, but that they will, don't be frustrated with the first 2 weeks. Be patient with that. Okay, and tip number 2 is eat healthy foods and no skipping of meals.
Right, that's really important. Kids think sometimes if they're a little overweight, skip a meal here and there. That's not good. It's better to eat those meals.
Or sometimes we're rushing around in the morning and mom says, oh, you know, you get snack time pretty early. We won't worry about breakfast. And you say,
no, don't skip those. Don't skip that breakfast. Breakfast is extremely important.
And you say eat something specific for breakfast. What are you
Whole
looking
grains,
for?
fruits, eggs, protein. That's really important for kids.
All right, and the third tip that we're going to go over this morning is get plenty of physical activity. And when I read this, I thought, you know, when I'm, starting a new schedule, the first thing I want to do is kind of like chill out for a little bit and have some downtime. And you say get them moving. Why?
Right. They need at least 60 minutes of activity a day, whether that's physical activity in school or play, because it helps to increase their immune system, which is really important when you're starting back to school for germs.
The last thing you want is for your kid to be sick in the first month of going back to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, every parent's nightmare, right? Okay. We're going to have 3 more tips for you coming up in the next hour of how to keep your kid healthy as you go back to school. All right, 7:24 this morning. Back to school means back to the sharing of germs. How do you keep your kid from getting sick? Well, Nurse Jenny Feltz is with us this morning. And earlier we talked about the importance of getting lots of sleep, and that's to help for immunity. The importance of not skipping meals.
Right.
And also the importance of having plenty of activity, not, being, restful as much, make sure we get out there and do something.
Right, exercise.
Okay. Now, this time you've got 3 more tips, and you say have kids stay up to date on their medical profile.
Right. It's really important that they stay up to date with their immunizations. Flu shots are very important to keep them healthy, and it's important for regular physical exams yearly, because sometimes that can detect things that we don't realize may be going on.
Especially if we have a healthy kid, we think, why do they need a physical?
Exactly.
And you say we need to do that just to keep them healthy. Okay. Now, the next tip is something, washing hands, which we hear of, but then you say no sharing.
Right. No sharing, like things like water bottles, towels, glasses, things like that. It's really important not to share those things because you can spread germs really easily that way.
Like when a kid says, hey, you want a bite of my sandwich, or hey, you want a sip of my Coke, you want to train your kid to say, hey, no thanks. To that. And of course, the washing of hands.
Yes, that is very important. That is the best way to prevent infections and diseases. If they can wash their hands and teach your kids to sing a few lines of happy birthday while they're doing it, good old soap and water, you can't beat that.
It seems so simple, and yet. Okay. And then you said to keep other kids from bringing germs home. If you've got a sick kid, what do you need to do?
Well, keep them home. If they're running a fever of 101 or greater, if they have diarrhea or vomiting more than once in 24 hours, keep them home. Sometimes that's hard, but it's really important, especially for those parents who may be taking care of older adults also at home. They're more susceptible to catching those things.
Right, and again, no sharing.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks so much, Jenny, for keeping our kids healthy.